Hi everyone, my name is Andrei Jikh. Hope you're having a great week, but if you're not, you're about to, because reason number one, there's a good chance that you may just get your very own personal stimulus check directly from the government. And before you dismiss this video thinking that you're too late to the party or that this doesn't apply to you, then please continue watching this video. And the second reason your day is about to get a lot better is because magic is awesome, especially when you know how it's done. Like I spent 3 hours gluing this whole deck of cards together. Nah, just kidding. This is not glued at all. What do you think I am, David Blaine? All right, that was creepy enough. Now I'm self-employed, but I do know that there are millions and millions of people out there like me who might be struggling for money or who might still be waiting for their stimulus checks to arrive. And on top of that, you may think that you're not qualified for this money, just like I thought about myself. But the truth of the matter is that people that drive Uber and Lyft and host Airbnb and photographers, videographers, and so many other people, pretty much anyone who's self-employed who has a side hustle income in the gig economy can potentially qualify for this free money. And not too long ago, I got access to a new way to get that dollar bill approved that might be better than going directly through the banks. And I say this because just recently I discovered a YouTuber who was putting on web seminars and charging people $100 to guide them through the SBA's PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. And that's totally fine. I see nothing wrong for charging for your time, your product, or your service, just like you wouldn't go to a tax accountant or a lawyer and expect for them to give you their time for free. But having said that, I also wanted to provide an alternative for people who couldn't afford to pay that $100, or for people that didn't want to pay $100 just to find out that they weren't qualified for this forgivable loan, or for people that already applied through their bank but have not heard anything yet. And just so you know, that's because banks are prioritizing their high net worth clients first. That's the reason why the Lakers were able to get a loan at all, which they then had to give back. Steph Curry with a free throw and it's gone. Just kidding. I know Steph Curry's not on the Lakers, but I don't watch much of the NFL anyway. And this stimulus check, which I say in air quotes, is part of the PPP. Now this is given to us at 1%. It's structured like a loan, but it can also be forgiven if you follow the guidelines that we're gonna later address in the video. Because I had somebody reach out to me who actually processes a lot of these applications and who actually gets the job done. He's actually the CEO of Capital Velocity, which is a real finance lending company. He's licensed by the Nevada Finance Division with a real audited finance institution. He also goes by the name of Thug Life. Just kidding, I made that last part up. His real name is Andrew Cartwright, and I know I act silly in my videos, but he is the real deal. We're gonna go see him and his team because these are the real people behind the scenes who are in charge of this sort of stuff, and I wanna answer some commonly asked questions that people may have about this very misunderstood program. And I don't wanna be the guy that's like, hey, you should go do that thing, and then never do it myself, because I don't ever wanna recommend or show you something that I otherwise would never do myself. In the interest of 100% transparency, I do want to tell you what the incentives are, so you know exactly whether I'm making money or not, whether Andrew Cartwright is making money or not. Those are all legal things that we have to disclose, and I do want you to know because I'm fully transparent about everything regarding my finances. But I can tell you that I did apply for the loan and I got approved in less than a day, which is a little crazy considering some people had to wait weeks and they still have not heard back from their bank just yet. We'll answer all the questions and then you can make up your mind whether or not this is worth your time. But speaking for myself anyway, I'm not financially incentivized to make this video in any way other than the ads that I'll pepper throughout this video. But other than that, I'm not making any money on the back end of this. I'm just a messenger, and Andrew reached out to me and I thought this was a cool opportunity to connect my viewers, people that might need help, with somebody who's actually getting this stuff done. And in this crazy world of self-infatuated social media, I want to use whatever influence I have, which is a weird thing to say, to get access to people I normally wouldn't have, just so I can help people actually pay either their employees, their rent, their mortgage, or even themselves, which is something I had trouble doing in the beginning of 2019. So without further ado, let's go see Andrew and his team. Let's use some social responsible distancing here, and let's go see right now. And I'm here at Andrew's studio, and before you say anything, yes, we are practicing social safe distancing rules. Check it out. Yeah, very far apart. Let's begin. Andrew, tell me about this program that you're processing. What is this program and who does it apply to?
Well, it's the PPP program, and it applies to almost anybody that has a business, and that could be Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, somebody who works independently for, FedEx, a 1099 employee, a photographer, a freelance person, basically somebody who's an entrepreneur that creates their own income as well as businesses. It's completely misunderstood. It's to bridge the gap, those 2.5 months of income that people are going to miss out on. It's sad that it's so misunderstood that only the big companies are really taking advantage of it.
Why would somebody want to process this application with your company as opposed to their local banks?
I would say apply with anybody, everybody, and this process is so chaotic and crazy that a lot of banks, big banks, they're going to get cut off at a certain point, and they're not even going to be, this is horrible. You put in your app, you think you're good, you've paid your taxes, you've done everything, and here you're going to wait for a big bank that you've trusted and you've been with, and maybe they don't get to you, or maybe they run out of funds, because when they get to a threshold, the only banks that'll be left that have 60 billion to lend will be little guys like us.
And this is because smaller lending businesses can pivot a lot faster, unlike banks that have millions of customers and hundreds, if not thousands of corporations all asking them for money. So the smaller guys can prioritize people like you and I because they have less customers, they can get to our loans far quicker. And this is why you shouldn't just apply with the banks, but also with the smaller guys like Andrew. Do I have to be in Nevada to apply with you?
No, you can be anywhere in the 50 states and our territories. You qualify and we're here to take care of you. So Puerto Rico, America, Samoa.
How much money can someone expect to get from this?
You take your income that gets capped at 100,000, right? So whatever you make capped at 100,000, you divide that by 12, you times it by 2.5. It's that simple.
So in this case, if I was making an absurd amount of income, let's say I was Graham Stephan, I was making 200 grand a month, amazing, but you could only still use 100K for the entire year as the max. And whatever you put into that number, you would divide by 12 and multiply that result by 2.5, and that would give me, at $100,000 for the max, $20,833.33, which is exactly how much I was approved for on my loan, because I entered 100 grand. Do people have to pay this loan back?
This loan is guaranteed by the SBA. So it is set up like a loan, a 24-month 1% interest. Now you have the ability to get this loan forgiven, provided you're paying payroll with it like you did before, whether that's paying yourself or paying the employees that were working for you. So that's part of the forgiveness. You can pay 75% towards the employment, and 25% you can actually pay towards other items.
Now, I'm not sure how the government is handling people who are treating this as a 1% loan, because what if they take that money and invest it into equities or dividend stocks at, say, 5%, and then they're pocketing the 4% difference on money that's not theirs and then returning it? How would the government know? I'm not sure, but if you're thinking about doing that, please think that through carefully. We're not sure what the repercussions are just yet, or better yet, maybe just don't do it. But yes, I have thought about it. Mr. Deeds, I am very, very sneaky.
It's their money. You do what you want with it. I mean, you're an American, free to do what you want. It's not meant for that, but you can ultimately.
When do we have to pay that money back if I didn't use it the right way, or maybe I did? When am I required to pay it back?
If it ends up being a loan and you don't use it for the paycheck forgiveness part of it, then you won't make a payment. It can be deferred for 6 months. You could make a payment if you want. You can pay it off at any time for no penalty, but you don't have to make a payment for 6 months. You can even request not to make payments for another 6 months, but it needs to be paid off within 2 years.
So how does one go about getting their loan forgiven? Is that something I have to do, or is that something you have to do on your end for other people?
And the burden is going to be on you, right? So what I would do, me personally, right? I would drop this money in a separate account, and then I would pay myself or pay my employees directly out of this account, and I would use the statement as verification. In banking, you have to prove up what you did. So the burden of proof for you to get it forgiven and have it be free money will rest on you.
Theoretically, because I work for myself, because I'm here from YouTube, I could use my rent money that I'm paying right now and say that that is a forgivable part of the loan.
Well, if you're using your section, your office for actual work, and that's part of yours, I'm not giving tax advice, but if you're not writing off that section of your house for your business, you should. If you're using that, then ultimately someone would venture to say that, yeah, that's rent for your business.
Can I use this money theoretically to pay down loans that I've had before that are high interest loans?
If you're paying 24, 30%, you're getting caved in. A lot of small businesses, when they got in trouble, they got credit card terminal advances. Some of these are 24, 37%. They've gone into debt with places that are basically kept them in business, and they've been making payments forever, and they'll probably never pay off some of these loans. This is the perfect time to refinance that at 1% so that you can help save the cash flow in your business.
So depending on how the government is handling this, you could in theory take that loan and then pay off all of your other high interest rate debt with that loan. But that's a great line that you might want to not walk, because how is that any different than taking this money and investing it into dividend stocks and then paying it back? We're not sure, because the government hasn't clearly outlined what we can and cannot do as far as what this loan goes and what the punishable offense would be for doing that, if anything at all. So you might want to be careful doing that in the future. So does this run a hard inquiry on your credit score then when you apply?
So at some point when we process the loan in the end and we're sending over docs, then yes, there will be some sort of real verification. Now the EIDL does pull a hard inquiry. We're not personally pulling credit. We're not. But when we do the loan, the credit union that your loan's placed with probably pull the credit. If they don't, that would be fabulous. But because it costs them money to pull it.
So how much is it then to apply?
There's no cost to apply. This is a loan to help people. So yeah, there's no origination fee. There's nothing.
So it's free to apply, and it's not going to cost you anything. And they only run your credit score, and they'll only check and do a hard inquiry when your loan is secured. And before then, they will not run your credit score. So they're not going to do a hard inquiry if they're not sure whether or not you're going to get your money. But when they're sure you're going to get the money, then the credit union that Andrew is partnered with is going to run your credit. So the follow-up question to that then is, why are you doing any of this? What is your incentive? What's in it for you to help so many people out?
Honestly, by the time you figure that if 5 people open an envelope and we get charged for all those envelopes, the one we do process, it was all for nothing. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12. I've started 32 companies in 17 industries. I've been through 4 ridiculous rodeos where I lost everything. And I will do anything to help somebody make sure that they keep their business alive and succeed. And right now, whether that means I lose sleep, have to put stuff together, or push everybody I know to be able to get on board with helping the little guy and figuring out how to explain to the little guy that they have a shot at this too. And not just the big guys that have all the corporate people. It's just not fair.
How did you get access to this money? Like, who gave you this money? How did you get access to this? Why are you in this position?
Capital Velocity is a licensed lender, right? We're licensed with the state of Nevada, and we're working with a credit union that we've had a relationship with for, God, probably over a decade, right? And they have a $1 billion balance sheet, and they said, Andrew, you can take basically our balance sheet and start booking these loans with us. And just so happens this one doesn't come with, the big points that you get and stuff like that, but this has a higher calling.
Please understand that this is not a guarantee. Out of liability's sake, you may not get a response right away, and it might take a few days or maybe a week. That'll just depend on how many people actually email his team, which I honestly have no clue, how reliable the software is, and how much money is still left over to give to people by the time you watch this video. But hopefully more than enough for you to get some. And if you're not sure, go to Andrew's channel on YouTube. You can see all the amazing, incredible work he's doing helping people process this. I was literally in his office when he was getting phone calls from people crying because he was processing their applications and they were so thankful. It's crazy. People just have no idea whether or not they can be approved for this, and the banks are just taking forever, and this guy's getting it done. So use this opportunity to your advantage. As far as the money that I got from this loan, I'm gonna give it right back because I don't need it, or I'll just employ somebody to work on something and pay them, like an app design or something. But either way, I'm not gonna keep the money for myself. I'm fortunate enough that I don't need it right now, so I will be giving it right back. But what I do need you to do is smash the like button, get your Webull account, fund it $100, get your 2 free stocks, one of which could be valued up to $1,400, get your other free stock from Robinhood, follow me on Instagram. Love you all. See you Monday and Friday. Bye-bye.